This spreadsheet works until it breaks and business becomes hectic. You start with something simple, a few rows, a few columns, then suddenly you have duplicates, manual updates everywhere, and no one knows what's actually correct anymore. If you're running your operations in spreadsheets, I'm going to show you how to turn that into a real working app using Zite. I'll walk you through an actual example and how this becomes something you and your team can actually use. I'm Zack from InterDev Solutions. Our channel shows you how to streamline operations with automation and AI. If you need direct help, you can visit our website, interdevsolutions.com. If you don't have a Zite account already, you can get started for free using the link in the description below. Spreadsheets often break in a few predictable ways. First, everything lives in one place, customers, orders, line items, and they're all mixed together. And the second is there's no real relationships between the actual data in the spreadsheet. So you're copying and pasting instead of linking data together. And everything is manual, meaning one change means updating multiple rows. And then that means there's really no real interface. So you're asking people to do work inside of raw data. As you can see in the spreadsheet, we have a purchase order that has multiple lines, and we identify that by showing that this line is purchase order 1 or purchase order 2 and purchase order 2. And these are each line items. And this is how we identify that they belong to the same purchase order, which isn't the most easy or intuitive way of looking at things. A real app separates things properly. You can see this has a clean interface. And if we go over to the database, we have customers and they link to purchase orders linked to customers. And then we have line items linked to purchase orders. So that way a customer and a purchase order can be linked, and a purchase order can have X number of line items. And this is important because it allows all of your data to link together, which makes it easier in the interface or to build an interface that identifies this information in a clean and readable way. So here we can see our list of purchase orders that link to customers, and each of these purchase orders have one or a number of different line items. And Zite allows you to just prompt it to build whatever you're looking for. So you can tell it that you want it to build you a purchase order system that has customers and purchase orders and line items. Maybe you need to create packing slips or invoices out of it. Really, whatever you want, you can build within the system, and you just basically chat to it. And this allows you to build both the database side of things, which I showed you briefly here, which has got your customers, purchase orders, and purchase order line items, and all of that data links together. And it also allows you to build out that interface or the UI that brings in all of this data as well. And lastly is the workflows. There's a lot of built-in actions and workflows that previously you would have had to build in spreadsheets. Would have been very difficult, but even something like Airtable or SmartSuite or one of the other tools that are out there, there was a lot of workarounds that you had to do to build out these different actions. And now it feels very native and intuitive to the application that you're building right within Zite. For example, this layer or the interface layer here, we can see all of our purchase orders. And if we click into it, we can see the PO line items. We can navigate over to customers. The big thing is within purchase orders, it's really easy to add this new order button. We can add in all of the relevant details like PO number, customer. We can even add a customer directly inside of this. If we do not have a customer in our list already, we can click new customer and add them there. Their billing details, shipping details, line items directly in line, and then go ahead and create the order, and it happens instantly. And it's really easy to make updates and changes and add new features and functionality to the application. So if we click into this order, for example, see it has a bunch of different order details, an edit button and a delete button. I can come down here. If I need to edit a line item, I can click edit, pops up edit modal. I can click add item. Again, pops up with a similar looking to the edit, but we're just adding a line item in this case. But something else that might be really nice is to have a button or a toggle, basically a way that you can edit the line items or add line items directly in line without having to open up a new modal. Where this is a big benefit is if you're working within spreadsheets, it's really easy to accidentally manipulate or change data by just hitting a key on your keyboard and not realizing that you had done that. We don't want that similar type of potential for an accident to happen within our application that we're building. So instead of these being able to be edited at any point in time, we could add a little toggle here that turns on that edit mode. And to do that, we come over here and just ask it to build this out for us. A couple of different options. We can plan this change, we can chat with it, but I'm just going to instruct it to build this. I think it should be a pretty simple feature to add. I'm just going to paste in a prompt, and it just says, in purchase orders, enable inline editing of line items that can be toggled on or off with a switch or a button. I'll click this, it will start its build, and I will come back to this in a minute once it's been completed. Now, this ran for a couple of minutes, and as you can see, if I jump into our spreadsheet, it's very easy to accidentally hit a key, and then if I toggle away from it, it's changed this data now, and it's without going back to undo the actual action. Maybe you didn't even realize you did it. It makes it difficult to trust the data that exists in just a spreadsheet. Now, in Zite here, it's a lot harder for me to accidentally make a change to one of the line items. But if I come over here, this is our new toggle. It has an inline edit feature. Now, if I want to bump this up to 5 items, and then I'll hit the check mark here, I can now toggle this off. It's changed it to 5, and it's adjusted the price accordingly. That's a much safer way to edit line items directly in line, and all it took was a simple prompt and a couple of minutes for it to implement this feature. And now if we wanted to take this a step further with this inline edit button, we can ask it to do something like update the inline edit button to include the functionality to add line items in line as well. And this is turned on. And now you can see that this isn't the best sentence that I provided to it, but I gave it enough context. It's going to understand what I mean, or it should understand what I meant by that sentence. And even my spelling isn't always 100% accurate. It looks like I did do a pretty good job in this case. And it's just going through its process of syncing the database. It's going to read the detail page, understand where it needs to make this update, thinks about it for a minute, and then it goes ahead and starts implementing that change that we just requested. This is now finished. When I select the inline edit, we have this new button here to add a row, and we can add new line items directly in line. I'm sure you can imagine now in a real business how this is very important to have some sort of clean and structured way to manage your data and allow different users to take the actions that they need and not have to worry about mistakes happening or manually adding certain data or copying it across to different cells and columns. Your team can review, edit, and manage everything in one place with a lot less confusion. Spreadsheets are still very useful, but the moment you need structure or relationships or multiple people working in it, you need an app versus using something like Excel or Google Sheets. I highly recommend taking a look at Zite. You can build something that actually fits your business. And as I mentioned from the start, there's a link in the description below to get started, and that gives you additional credits. If you want more videos like this, building real systems with tools like Zite and automation, please subscribe to the channel. And if you want help building something like this for your business, you can contact us on our website using the link in the description below.